Dwayne Keefe D. Davis, the man accused of murdering Tupac Shakur,
was seriously injured after being stabbed.
Dwayne Keefe D. Davis, the man blamed for killing Tupac Shakur, was genuinely harmed in the wake of being cut. Keefe D. is struggling with remaining alive, and jail reports are surfacing that Keefe D. is purportedly in a basic state after a wounding episode, the restricted data accessible inside the jail. Walls has dove his future into vulnerability, touching off serious conversations about prisoner security and the battle for endurance in the remedial framework. It is being informed that Keefe D. could possibly revive what is happening. This disturbing advancement has released a tempest of hypothesis and stress, leaving fans restlessly hanging tight for refreshes. So you may be asking, what prompted this ridiculous cutting? Will Keefe D. endure? Continue to watch till the finish of this video to see what's truly befalling Keefe D. in jail. Trust me, you would rather not miss this. Before we get into the video, I need to give a speedy holler to the main VIP Goldsmith, the Ice Champ. The Ice Champ is doing an exceptional arrangement for the following 24 hours on jewel watches, chains, and more. Follow at the iChampion on Instagram. Now Keefe D. went after in jail. Tupac murder suspect Keefe D. has allegedly been making some unpleasant memories in the slammer. As per Reggie Wright Jr. in another meeting with Bomb previously distributed on November 17, Reggie, who worked at Suge Knight's Death Row Records and whose father was already a posse implementer at the Los Angeles Sheriff Office's unit effort Safe Road in Empton, detailed that Keefe has previously been bounced on various occasions in prison, as he anticipates preliminary and perhaps in for far more detestable. Beery Dunn became beaten on multiple times currently in there. And I got that from a great source. He said he going to get when those fellows at the pen figure out how he was saying they delicate. Better believe it, that sound is still out there. You better call Vlad and attempt to get it pulled down. Recently, Keefe D. argued not blameworthy in that frame of mind of Tupac's 1996 homicide. This followed different defers in his arraignment cycle. His preliminary is booked to start on June 3, 2024. He's expected back in court for one more hearing toward the start of the following year. Keefe D. lawyers Charles Koo and Robert Arroyo have recently expressed that they intend to look for bail, while many are happy at the possibility that some equity may at last be served for Tupac. Others don't really accept that Keefe D.'s capture has given a lot of conclusion on success. Talked looking into it before this week, guaranteeing that nothing can compensate for what was lost when the late symbol was killed. However, Nevada is a death penalty state. Examiners won't look for capital punishment for Keefe whenever sentence. Keefe D., who is currently 60 and cases to have been determined to have malignant growth, is the main individual to at any point be accused of the homicide of Tupac after he was captured in September. Enthusiasts of the late rapper accept that Keefe professing to have been determined to have disease is an intricate plan to attempt to get a decreased sentence or some type of compassion from the adjudicator for his situation. In spite of arguing not liable, Keefe D. has made various cases throughout the long term about engineering the shooting of Tupac, remembering enumerating the episode for his 2019 book Compton Road Legend. Nevada examiners asserted that Tupac was engaged with a club fight with notable Crips gangster Orlando Anderson, who is the nephew of Keefe D. The evening of the shooting, Anderson is accepted to have been in the vehicle with Keefe D. during the hit-and-run assault. For certain records, iding him as the shooter. Death Row Records prime supporter Suge Knight was likewise injured during the evening of Tupac's shooting. He had since remarked on Keefe D.'s capture in a meeting with TMZ from jail, expressing that he will not affirm against the previous gangster whenever called to the stand during the preliminary. Suge additionally said that Keefe D. wasn't the one that pulled the trigger that evening. There is theory that assuming the case gets muddled, an adjudicator would need to compel Knight to affirm against Keefe D., since he is by all accounts the only one in the world who has data about what truly happened that evening. Keefe D. argued not liable in court. Keefe D. previously entered his not liable request in a Las Vegas town hall. Pitchfork detailed that Keefe D.'s proper arraignment was hung on November 2nd, where he entered his supplication while being addressed by a public protector. This denotes an adjustment of plan from Davis' unique employing of superstar Las Vegas lawyer Ross Goodman, who was set to address him anyway. As per the power source, Keefe D. and Goodman headed out in different directions when they couldn't arrive at a game plan based on the conditions of installment. and presently Keith D is guaranteeing that he can't bear the cost of a confidential legal advisor during the short time frame that he addressed. Said Keith D. Goodman said that the case's state was frail, and that his client wasn't a man who planned to take off, assuming that given an opportunity, I figure Mr. Davis ought to be delivered on his own recognizance. He said he's not a flight hazard, he's not a threat to the local area he's resided in Henderson for a very long time, and he's not going anyplace. The Tupac murder preliminary has its reasonable portion of issues, particularly after almost 30 years of no development for the situation except for one of the greatest hindrances might be Suge Knight's refusal to affirm about what precisely he saw the evening of September 7, 1996 TMZ, talked with the Death Row Records prime supporter via telephone back in October to get his contemplations on the new improvement in Tupac's long-running crime examination. Knight, who is as of now in a correctional facility carrying out a 28-year punishment of his own for deliberate murder, likewise asserted that Keedy's nephew Orlando Anderson was not the shooter in spite of mainstream thinking they were just two individuals in the vehicle. P won't recount the story, and I won't recount to the story, said the previous record leader who was injured while sitting close to Tupac during the lethal hit-and-run assault. Yet I can let you know this, I never had nothing awful to say regarding Orlando since he wasn't the shooter, it wasn't Anderson. So that is all I got to say regarding that part. Keedy is alleged to have coordinated the hit as revenge against Tupac, who close by his escort had additionally gone after Anderson in the entryway of the MGM Excellent Gambling Club in Las Vegas the evening of September 7, 1996. Keedy gets another preliminary date. The hotly anticipated murder preliminary of Keith D is to start on June 3, 2024, as governed by a Las Vegas judge on Tuesday for the New York Day-to-Day News 7 days before Keith D entered a supplication of not liable. This advancement denotes a critical section in the Getting Through secret T encompassing Tupac's grievous demise since Keith D needed to turn to involving public protectors. The adjustment of legitimate portrayal added one more layer of interest to the unfurling account, igniting theory about the complexities of the guard system and the difficulties that lie ahead for Keefe. Keith D's association with the Tupac murder case runs profound, as uncovered through a trap of affiliations and disclosures, one of the main connections obviously being Orlando Anderson, who was engaged with a battle with Tupac only hours before the deadly drive-by and who met his own end in a Los Angeles shootout in 1998. Keedy, the sole enduring individual from the gathering straightforwardly associated with the episode other than Sunite, can't deny how vocal he has been relating the occasions paving the way to Tupac's homicide. In his meeting and book, Keefe gives a chilling record of the deadly shooting of Tupac. Furthermore, he nitty-gritty how their gathering comprising of people like DeAndre Fresh, Aki Smith, and Terry Airpocket Up Brown experienced Tupac's band close to the Las Vegas Strip. Also, his accounts frame the unfurling occasions that finished in the lethal experience, revealing inspirations and conditions that prompted Tupac's troublesome end as the preliminary date